Hey there, restaurant recipe lovers. Welcome back to The Daily Dish, a copycat.com podcast where I help you recreate your favorite restaurant dishes right in your own kitchen. I'm Stephanie Manley, and I've been recreating your favorite recipes since 1995. Before we dive in, I want to send a huge thank you to everyone who's been tagging Copycat in their kitchen creations on social media. Those photos and comments absolutely do make my day. Don't forget, you can find the complete written version of today's recipe, including all the measurements, step-by-step instructions, on copycat.com. And I've also included a handy link in the show notes for this episode so you can follow along while you... Now, today we're making one of my favorite nostalgic items that we used to enjoy in the malls. I don't know about you, but growing up in the 80s and 90s, I just loved going to the mall and exploring everything you could get at the food court. Today, we're talking about the Strawberry Julius. If you're like me, you may have some fond memories of shopping with friends and family and taking a break for their signature frothy, creamy strawberry drink. Now, what makes this recipe perfect for our copycat community is that it requires just 5 simple ingredients that you probably have in your pantry and your refrigerator. We're talking milk, fresh strawberries, sugar, vanilla extract, and ice. That's it. And the best part, you'll spend about $2 making these at home versus the $5 or more that you'd pay for getting these out. And that's a savings you can feel good about. And that's if you can even find an Orange Julius restaurant or shop. Where I live at in Texas, Orange Julius is owned by Dairy Queen, and you can get them at Dairy Queen, but you can't get the Strawberry Julius. So I hope you can get one of these out in the wild. So let's talk about what makes a Julius different than your standard smoothie. Unlike typical smoothies that are packed with ice for a thick, slushy texture, a true Julius has that distinctive frothy quality. The secret is using more milk than ice, which gives you that light, airy texture that made Orange Julius famous back in 1926 when they first opened. Did you know that the original Orange Julius was so popular that it became the official drink of the 1964 World's Fair? Now, while they started with just orange flavor, they eventually expanded to include other options like our strawberry version, plus mango pineapple, pina colada, and various berry blends. Now, let's get to the actual recipe. You're going to need a cup of milk. I like to use whole milk. I think that it is creamier than the other, like say 2% or skim milk or fat-free milk. A cup of fresh strawberries that are hulled. Make sure you take off the hull of the strawberry, those green bits. Those don't make for very good smoothies at all. 3 tablespoons of sugar, a half a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and 1 cup of ice cubes. The preparation could be simpler. Toss everything into your blender and blend until smooth and frothy and no strawberry chunks are remaining. Pour into glasses and enjoy. The whole process takes less than 5 minutes. Let me share some tips to make sure your Strawberry Julius turns out perfect every time. First, make sure that you blend long enough to completely pulverize those strawberries. Nobody wants strawberry chunks getting stuck in their straw. Second, if you find your Julius too thin, just add a little bit more ice and blend again. Conversely, if it's a little too thick, add a tablespoon or 2 of milk to combine. Now let's talk customization, which I know is important to many of you. This recipe is incredibly adaptable. For those of my dairy-free listeners, you can easily substitute almond milk, oat milk, or coconut milk for regular milk. Each will give a slightly different flavor profile. With coconut milk adding a tropical twist, that's divine. Now, if you're watching sugar intake, replace the white sugar with honey, maple syrup, or even a little bit of stevia or monk fruit sweetener. Start with less than the recipe calls for and adjust to taste. For those of you who like to experiment with flavors, why not try to create a triple berry Julius by replacing half of the strawberries with a mix of blueberries and raspberries, or go tropical with mango and pineapple chunks. For my listeners with dietary restrictions, this recipe is naturally gluten-free, and with the dairy-free modifications I mentioned, it can work for many different diets. One last money-saving tip, while fresh strawberries are wonderful, you can absolutely use frozen strawberries, especially when they're not in season. But if you do use frozen berries, you might need to reduce the amount of ice, since the frozen fruit will chill the drink. This Strawberry Julius makes a perfect afternoon treat for when the grandkids visit, or a refreshing breakfast option on a hot summer morning. And unlike the mall version, you can control exactly what goes into it. No artificial flavors or preservatives are found here. I hope you enjoyed this trip down memory lane with our copycat Strawberry Julius recipe. Remember, you can find the complete written recipe either on our blog at copycat.com or by clicking on the show notes for this episode. If you make the recipe, I'd love to see your creations. Please tag us on social media or leave a comment on the blog. Until next time, this is Stephanie Manling from copycat.com, helping you bring the restaurant experience at home. Why go out when you can make it at home?